Shalom. This is an emergency broadcast alert giving all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Rakakadash, in whom we are in great debt. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone who rule well, continue doing so, standing firm in the eyes of terror, who I learned this truth from. To the elders, the bishops, Akim and Aquab, salutations and blessings to the house of David. We are the hopeful elect. This is your brother Quasiar with another one. This video comes from the elder Malcolm, GMS Maccabee Spirit 144. Now, I am going to place the link of his video in the description box, because what I'm going to do is, as he speaks, I'm going to run a PDF, okay? And if you can download this PDF, if you can buy the book, I encourage you do so, because although we can't prove, because we don't have the carnal authority, and I'm saying carnal because we live through the spirit, we fight through the spirit of Yahweh Shem Shai, and this is what we can do. You know, we look, we seek proof throughout the world according to the scriptures, and we rebuke you, and we show the authentic word of Yahweh Shem Shai through what is going on in the world. That he is not a liar, that the Lord is, he put that word out for his prophets, that we can show you who the enemy is. Without further ado,
Shalom. Call hello, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakaha Kwadash. Double honors into the apostles, double honors into the elder bishops. Salutations to all my fellow laborers doing this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and their freedom to do so now more so than never. The would-be judges, the 144,000 Israelites, all right, that are going to be the judges of the earth. The kingdom of heaven is set up upon the return of the Lord. All right, it's not the 12 tribes of Jewish, it's the 12 tribes of Israel. All right, and to the scattered elect that are scattered around the four corners of the earth, that be like unto the speckled bird, the Israelite foreigners among the heathen nations, that have the appearance of the heathen nations. This is not a black only thing, not a color thing at all, but an Israelite thing, for the Israelites are scattered among all people and are going to come looking like all people. Hence the reason why the Lord is going to gather them up to separate the wheat from the tares. And to the few Akwath that are listening and learning, to you, I say Shalom. This is your brother Malcolm from the branch of the Great Millstone here in Chicago, coming at you with another lesson in brutal truth. Do not get it twisted. The main body of the Israelites on earth today are the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, which are the same people, different tribes. All right. And, you know, I got a couple videos that I want to highlight and just bring out some scriptures. And first scripture is going to be, Jeremiah 13:26. Though the scripture is actually talking about, Judah, but the scriptures are manyfold, and this is being applied to Esau, Edom right now. It says, "Therefore will I discover thy skirts upon thy face, and thy shame may appear." And Esau, Edom is being exposed, and the craziest thing is mostly by himself, by his own people. All right. So I want to play this video first, actually. This one here. Because these people set themselves up to be judges, and they're not. Okay? They're a bunch of liars. And first thing I want to do Let's read this letter from Pam Bondi on this whole Ghislaine Maxwell and EP thing, you know. And this is an official letter dated February 25th, and this is a letter to Cash Patel from Pamela Bondi. All right, and see if we can bring that into focus. It says, "Dear Director Patel, before you came into office, I requested a full, complete file to Jeffrey Epstein. In response to these requests, I received approximately 200 pages of documents, which consisted primarily of flight logs, Epstein's list contacts, and a list of victims' names and phone numbers. All right. I repeatedly questioned whether this was a full set of documents. Well, you know, it's just screenshot, and then I'm gonna let me bring it into focus because it's hard to read it this way. So I'm gonna just, screenshot it. Hold on. There we go. Then I'll read it. It says, I repeatedly questioned whether this is a full set of documents responsive to my request and was repeatedly assured by the FBI that we had received full set of documents. Late yesterday, I learned from the source that the FBI field office in New York was in possession of thousands of pages of documents related to the investigation and indictment of Epstein. Despite my repeated requests, the FBI never disclosed the existence of the files. When you and I spoke yesterday, you were just as surprised as I was to learn this new information. By 8 a.m. tomorrow, February 28th, the FBI will deliver the full and complete Epstein files to my office, including all records, documents, audio, video recordings, and materials related to Jeffrey Epstein and his clients, regardless of how such information was obtained. We ensure that the public disclosure of these files will be done in a manner to protect the privacy of the victims and in accordance with law, as I have done my entire career as a prosecutor. I am directing you to conduct an immediate investigation into my order. The FBI was not followed. You will deliver to me the comprehensive report of your filings and personal actions within 14 days. I appreciate your immediate attention to this important matter. I know that we are both committed to transparency for the American people. I look forward to continuing the work with you to serve our president and our country. Attorney General Pamela Bondi. See, and the scriptures tell you that a woman is not supposed to be put in a position of authority. So America is just full of fraud up and down because America is supposed to be a biblically based, country set up on biblical principles. And the Bible is very clear about women being put in positions of leadership or over men. It was never to be done biblically. If you call yourself a Christian, which is supposedly a Christian nation. But what this really is a nation of vampires. All right. And I want you to think about, how a trial would go if a vampire was being brought up on charges for taking the blood, for slaughtering or changing humans into vampires. How would that go in court? Would the vampires convict the other vampire for doing what vampires do? No. And I'm just using that as a comparison because, per example, you have the bar registry. And I'm going to play this short video. It's a couple minutes long. And the video is about a woman complaining about certain legalities from bar registered attorneys. Well, they're already admitting to you that they work for for the British Admiralty royalty. That means that any attorney that's bar qualified, their title alone tells you that they're against the Constitution, they're against the law of the land, they're against the people. This is a system which is set up against you people, and you people still believe in it. All right. Hence the reason why there's so much influence within your government, within your law, and why you get labeled, anti-semantics whenever you point that out, like Tucker Carlson has done as of lately. But let us now play this video with this really nerdy looking Edomite chick.
I'm starting to get a little bit nervous because I have seen barely anybody raising the alarm on what I see to be one of the most significant threats that the President of the United States has made towards the independence of our federal courts since he took office. And that is saying something. This creature from the fascist lagoon is Emile Beauvais. And despite what his appearance might suggest, this man is actually not a C-tier character actor who is cast exclusively as the villain in children's movies. No, this guy is somehow still a barred attorney in the District of Columbia. He is also a former personal attorney to the President of the United States, and he served as acting Deputy Attorney General in the Department of Justice. That's the second highest ranking temporary political position, while Todd Blanche, now the Deputy Attorney General, had his nomination to that position pending for the U.S. Senate. He is a Trump loyalist first and foremost. He does not care about the law. He does not care about the neutrality or independence of the Department of Justice. All he cares about is pleasing his boss. What is
so you know what? I can stop it right there, because if you were listening to anything that I said, all right, none of these people care about the law. Because remember, the law of the land is the law of the land, and bar registered attorneys take an oath to the bar, which is British Admiralty Registry, which is maritime law, not the law of the land. They are against the Constitution. This is why foreign entities have so much influence in America. This is why they don't teach law in school. See, there was a time when you learned civics in school. That way, every citizen was thoroughly educated in the law within themselves. Why do you think you need lawyers for everything? Because they're using all these laws that are not even from the country, that are not even of your government, to get around the law of the land. And it's creating this divide, it's creating this split. And this is one of the reasons why America is failing. All right. I often bring up the institution of Title 4D child support, which is a part of the human resources, or human, whatever they call it, their human resources thing. But all of that, it sounds like it's a great thing, but the truth of the matter is, it is just a way to get around the law of the land, which is the Constitution, which is the supreme law of the land, which is being violated by all these outside institutions that are not of this country, that are actually contrary to the law of the land, and used just like those vampires to suck the life out of the people. All right. Title 4D is of a foreign entity, and it is illegal. All right. It is unconstitutional to place an American citizen under a foreign treaty, which is what is done daily. And just using that as an example. All right. Within your court systems, all these bar approved attorneys, their loyalty is to the bar, not to the Constitution and the law of the land. All right. So they put up that's why you have flags. If you notice that flag there, it has those yellow fringes around the bottom of it. All right. Why he would have a flag like that in his house, I have no idea. Flags like that do not belong in your courtroom. Okay. They don't. Now you'll see, them flying flags on certain ships in certain places. When people put up their 4th of July flags, there's no yellow fringes around the bottom of it. The yellow fringes on the flag is letting you know that they're operating outside. They're operating outside of the supreme law of the land. That they're doing their own thing. And they do this to Americans every day because you're stupid. Collectively, you're stupid. Very stupid as a people. All right. And these people who are frauds, these foreign entities are ruling over your country. All right. So let's play this video first to see who's actually ruling over you. You can see the names and titles of the videos at the bottom of the screen. All right. So here we go.
About to show you something extremely controversial. It's even illegal in the state of Israel to obtain this. And if you do obtain it, it's illegal to show it and or talk about it. Ladies and gentlemen, my DNA. Now, I bet you thought it was going to be a lot crazier than that, right? Now, you may ask yourself, why is it illegal to obtain this in the state of Israel? Because it proves through your DNA that Jews around the world have no ancestral ties to the land of Israel. Because it proves through your DNA that Jews around the world have no ancestral ties to the land of Israel.
We Jews have been in the land of Israel since the times of biblical Joshua.
Who is we? No, really, who is we? You live in Israel, so I don't expect you to be able to provide genetic or ancestral receipts for your claims about us Jews, because those kinds of receipts are illegal in Israel without a court order and other special permissions. The Jerusalem Post explains such a thing cannot exist as kits sold directly to the public, going on to say that they have possible effects on subjects and their families. Furthermore, the national implications of these tests could hold or affect, nice grammar Jerusalem Post, could hold or affect with Israel being a government-recognized Jewish state. Don't you just love when they say the quiet parts out loud?
Wow.
But since they won't let you get receipts for us Jews, I brought my own. Wow. So I, an Ashkenazi, have no genetic or ancestral ties to the region of historic Palestine. I, an Ashkenazi, have no genetic or ancestral ties to the region of historic Palestine.
Now we'll stop it right there. Now, that is a partial truth. And I'm going to explain why. All right. But this is 1 Timothy 6:20. O Timothy, keep that which is committed to thy trust, avoiding profane and vain babblings and oppositions of science falsely so called. All right. So what Timothy here, and this is one of my favorite scriptures and I read often, but what Timothy warned us of was that the day would come when Esau, Edom, will use science to try to get around truth and try to use science to get around what's written in the Bible. Okay, so are they, they are not the people of the Lord. This is true. They don't have ties to Western Asia. All right, which is the area of the Middle East sits in Western Asia. They don't have ties to the land of Israel. However, they do have ties to the land of Jordan. So that, because, let me show you some receipts. Because this right here is near Petra. All right. And this was the home. You would think you were looking at Greece, but this is in Jordan. All right. This is where Esau, Edom came from. All right. You would think you were looking at images of Alexander of Macedon, but this is about 40 miles, I think, west or east of Petra. You would think you were looking at things from ancient Greece, but this is Petra. This was the true home of Esau, Edom. All right, the brother. All right, the wicked brother to Jacob, who was the father of the Israelites, and that's their actual home. All right. Well, that whole region, Petra, carved into the mountains there. That is, and they still build that way to this day. All right. You look like you're looking at, some sort of states building. White Houses, museums, they still build that way to this day. All right. So they are from Western Asia. All right. The thing is that they're not the Israelites. They are Shemitic. Remember, they made the word Semitic up. All right. That word is, you can Google that word. It's not biblical. All right. They connected to Shem. They try to make it as if it's the same, but if you go into the Bible and you look at Shem, you can actually see all the different Shemitic people. But Sem puts them in a class, pretty much by themselves. All right. And they'll attach one people, just Ishmael, and leave out all the other 6 Shemitic people, nations. All right. Because you can't connect them to Sem. So, this whole anti-Semitic thing, that's once again them using propagated lies and pseudoscience to get around truth. Okay? Because the Bible is very clear that you are of your father's seed. Point blank period. Not the landmass that you came from. And that's what they do with this whole DNA thing. They take, blood from, because what they don't do is they don't acknowledge migrations. They don't acknowledge that the people that are in Western Asia, Eastern Asia, and the northern Western Asia, which they call Europe, okay, or Eurasia, that they're not the original inhabitants of that land. They don't acknowledge migration patterns. They just take the blood of the people who are there, or the people who've been there for the last 1,000 years or so, and they don't acknowledge the moving around of people at all. They completely ignore that fact that, that Alexander and, per example, let's read this definition of Asia from the Oxford 1850 dictionary. Eurasian, all right? Asia, in the sense of compound, Eurasia, all right? Of or pertaining to Eurasia, to Europe and Asia, considered as forming in reality one continent. See, so we're taught in the Western fool system, school system, the reality one, Europe and Asia, 50,000 years or so, and they don't acknowledge the moving around of people at all. They completely ignore that fact that, that Alexander and, per example, let's read this definition of Asia from the Oxford 1850 dictionary. Eurasian, all right? Asia, in the sense of compound, Eurasia, all right? Of or pertaining to Eurasia, to Europe and Asia, considered as forming in reality one continent. See, so we're taught in the Western fool system, school system, the fool system, you're taught, that there's 7 continents. There's actually only 6, because Asia sits in Europe. Salakia. Europe sits in Asia. It's one giant continent. So when you're reading the Bible and the Bible starts speaking of Rome and Spain, and that's all Asia. Okay. When Alexander of Macedon came out of Macedonia, he was in Asia. All right, that's all Asia, the Asiatic land of the Middle East and the Asiatic Europe. All right, so these people are just frauds, and they've created this whole pseudoscience that, the landmass you're from determine the color of your skin and your nationality, and they don't acknowledge that people were moving around, and landmarks were changed, and that's all. And there's proof, there's evidence of that, there's receipts of that, but they just don't want to talk about it.
And with that, I'll place the link in the description box. You should check out the Elders channel for more edification. Shalom.